But as you said, you support and you're in that area, and they do look to you as a I mean, just say your connection that has to do with the national policy standpoint. Have you ever have you come before Congress? Have you, or are you aware of the Border Patrol asking for those resources to provide 100% enforcement on the border? I would think you'd have to collaborate to come up with that number.
I have not testified or come before Congress on CBP's appropriation. As I noted in my earlier testimony, the President's request for ICE's budget is the highest it's ever been, and,
Okay,
and
let me make
has
this
appropriated
point,
that money.
If we had the ability to actually leverage full enforcement at the border, then it would be actually a deterrent effect. And
absolutely.
We hear some testimony that it goes all over the map, but we know we're not interdicting half of those that come across. I make another question: that illegal drugs that are interdicted at the border, are they up or down over the last 2, 3, 4 years?
I believe the seizures that CBP is making are up.
And deaths in the Arizona desert?
I can't speak to that. That's really a CBP issue. I do know that CBP's apprehensions along the border are at record lows.
And so I would just suggest this question is in my mind, and that is that there are two ways to interpret the interdictions of CBP on the border. One of them is that there are fewer people crossing the border, and the other one is they're stopping fewer people that are crossing the border in similar numbers. And I'd ask you if you would pay a close attention to the volume of drugs that are being interdicted at the border as a better indicator of how much illegal border crossing is going on. And looking at the deaths in the Arizona desert is another measure on that. Those things are not, they aren't affected directly by whether or not there is a real focus on the interdiction at the border. Those are, I mean, the drugs are, and they're doing, I think, a lot of work to enforce the illegal drugs that are transported across the border. But I would suggest that that's a reliable indicator, and the deaths in the Arizona desert are a reliable indicator, and the interdictions of individuals just for border crossing may not be. Thank you, Mr. Director, and I
time of the gentleman's expired.